The Wendigo Trail. Recovered footage log. Narrated by Officer Alan Smoke. Rocky Boy Reservation Police, Montana.
My name is Alan Smoke. I serve as a tribal law enforcement officer for the Rocky Boy Reservation in Montana. Over the years, I've seen my share of strange things out in the hills. Disappearances, mutilated livestock, missing hikers, screams that don't echo like they should. You learn to live with it. You learn to not ask too many questions. But 2 weeks ago, something crossed my desk that I haven't been able to let go of. A plain manila envelope was left outside the front doors of our station. No return address, no fingerprints, just the words, "Do not look," scrawled across the front in thick, angry black marker. Inside was a cracked SD card and nothing else. I should have turned it over to evidence. I should have followed protocol. But I didn't. I watched the footage, and now I can't sleep. The video begins with 4 kids, probably in their 20s, loud, cocky, the kind of amateur ghost hunters you see online, chasing views with cheap gear and fake reactions. Their channel was called Uncharted Fear. The leader introduced himself as Tommy. His girlfriend Ren ran the cameras. Mateo handled the drones. The last one, Chris, was the joker, the guy who always had something stupid to say when things got tense. Their goal was to hike into restricted land in the Bear Paw Mountains. Sacred land. Land we've kept closed off for good reason. They were chasing some Reddit post, claiming a Wendigo was caught on drone footage. I don't know if they believed it, or just wanted to ride the trend. Either way, they went in without permission, without a guide, and without understanding what they were walking into. They hit the tree line on a cold November morning. There's a shaky selfie video of them making jokes under a rusted sign nailed to a post. No trespassing. Tribal land. No cameras. No entry. This means you. They laughed and kept walking. That was day 1. They set up camp near a dry ravine lined with skeletal pine trees. Drone footage showed an endless canopy of black timber stretching for miles. Chris made jokes about Wendigos being vegan now. The mood was light. Ren's camera caught Tommy holding her hand by the fire, whispering, "Let's find a monster." Around 2 a.m., everything changed. Ren was recording with a night vision lens. Everyone else was asleep. She heard something outside, slow, crunching footsteps, then breathing, close, wet, ragged. The tent wall pushed inward, like something enormous was pressing its face against the nylon. They froze. Then, whatever it was, let out a groan, a long, dry, rattling sound like lungs full of ash. It moved on. The next morning, they found claw marks in the trees. Deep, parallel, too high up for a cougar, too wide for a bear. Tommy tried to explain it away, maybe moose antlers scraping bark. But Ren wasn't buying it. She zoomed in on the claw marks with her camera. 6 slashes. No hesitation. They pressed forward anyway. Around midday, they found bones, a pile of rib cages. Not animal. Not all of them. Some still had flesh, pink, raw. One had a shoe nearby, a hiking boot with dried blood inside. Scattered among the bones were dozens of deer hooves, just the hooves, arranged in a near-perfect circle. Then came the worst part. The bones were cracked down the middle, hollowed, the marrow sucked out. That's not a bear. That's not a wolf. That's human hunger. Tommy turned pale. Mateo vomited. Chris went silent for the first time. They argued about turning back, but Tommy insisted it was a hunting dump site, that someone was playing a sick joke. They stayed one more night. That was a mistake. The footage at 3:47 a.m. shows Chris pacing the edge of the camp. He swears he heard someone out in the trees whispering his name. When they play it back, Ren isolates the audio. It's his voice whispering, "Let me in." but Chris was still inside the tent. Later that morning, Chris goes missing. He says he's checking a trail cam and heads off alone. 30 minutes pass. Then an hour. Then they find the blood. A dark trail winding through the underbrush, broken twigs and drag marks. They follow it in silence. The next clip is from a mounted tree cam. It shows what they found. Chris. Not dead. Not yet. Pinned to a tree, arms spread like a grotesque crucifixion. A sharpened branch rammed through his lower abdomen, impaling him to the trunk. His stomach is split open, guts hanging like vines, blood dripping in long, slow beads. His face twitches. He's still alive. Ren screams. Mateo falls to his knees. Tommy pulls them back, shaking, shouting. It's not him. That's not Chris anymore. They run. They leave him. But the tree cam keeps rolling. Minutes later, something steps into frame. Tall, slender, bones stretching through mottled gray skin. It lowers its head to Chris's body. You hear chewing, slurping. Then it tears something free, his thigh muscle, and walks back into the woods, chewing like jerky. That was the Wendigo. That night, there's no fire, just whispering in the trees. Ren records a goodbye message to her sister. Tommy's praying under his breath. Mateo stares into the dark. Then Chris returns. But he's not Chris anymore. He's crawling. Bent. Wrong. His arms too long, his jaw hanging slack, eyes white and bleeding from the corners. His skin is ash gray, stretched thin. You can hear bones snapping as he pulls himself forward, making that wet, rattling laugh they heard the night before. Behind him, in the trees, the Wendigo follows. Ren drops the camera and runs. It tumbles. We see flashes. The forest floor, the fire pit, Tommy's boots. Screams. Then silence. The last footage is distant, shaky. Ren is running toward the car. The flashlight's beam bounces. She stops to look behind her, and that's when you see it. Two glowing eyes, reflecting light like a predator. Then a second pair. Then a third. The Wendigo. And Chris crawling after her, ribs scraping the rocks, mouth distended into an impossible grin. The camera cuts out as something lunges. That's where the tape ends. They never came back. No bodies were found. Only a broken camera, a torn backpack, and a line of claw marks stretching across a tree trunk that hadn't been there before. We never released the footage. The family was told it was a case of exposure, hypothermia. Classic. But I know better. And now, so do you. There's something in those mountains. Something old. Something hungry. And if you hear it whisper your name, don't answer.